The Book of the Dead, ancient scripts from Egypt that go all the way back to at least 5,000 years ago, possibly older, especially if you reconsider the pyramids could be much older, like the Cheops pyramid could be much older than we're told, like at least 12,000 years old. So whether or not the Sumerian texts or some of these Egyptian texts are older, what I would like to do is read to you chapter 14 and 15 from the Book of the Dead. These are very powerful scribes slash rites slash spells for the safe passage of the netherworld, the other side. And it's fascinating how much the Egyptians dove into the astral realms, the spiritual side of things. Very detailed, and the technologies that they intertwined with the symbolism and rites, rules, passages, etc. are nothing short of extraordinary. Absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. This is chapter 14, chapter for removing displeasure from the heart of the God against the deceased person. Hail to thee, O God, who sendest forth the moment, who presidest over all the secret things, and protectest the utterance of my words. Here is a God displeased against me. Let wrong be overwhelmed, and let it fall upon the hands of the Lord of law. Remove the impediments which are in me, and the evil and the darkness. O Lord of law, and let that God be reconciled to me, removing that which detaineth me from thee. O Lord of offerings in canoe, let me offer to thee the proprietary offering by which thou livest, and let me live by it and be reconciled. Let all the displeasure which is in thy heart against me be removed. That's chapter 14. Now, chapter 15, this is quite extensive, and there's several hymns. There's 3 hymns associated with chapter 15, and I think it's quite a powerful scribe here. So here we go. Adored be Ra, when he riseth up from the eastern horizon of heaven. They who accompany him extol him. Here is the Osiris-En, the victorious, and he saith, O thou radiant orb, who ariseth each day from the horizon, shine thou upon the face of the Osiris, who adoreth thee at dawn, and proprieteth thee at the gloaming. Let the soul of the end come forth with thee into heaven. Let him rejoice. Scratch that. Let him journey in the Matit boat, and finish his course in the Sakit boat, till he reach in heaven unto the stars which set. He saith, as he invoketh his Lord, the Eternal One, Hail to thee, Horus of the 2 horizons, who art Chepera, self-originating. Beautiful is thy rising up from the horizon, enlightening the 2 earths with thy rays. All the gods are in exultation when they see thee, the King of heaven, with the Nebt Anut, established upon thy head, and the diadem of the south and the diadem of the north upon thy brow, which maketh her abode in front of thee. Toth abideth at the prow of thy bark, that he may destroy all thine adversaries. They who dwell in the Tua are coming forth to meet thy majesty, and to gaze upon that beautiful semblance of thine. And I too come to thee, that I may be with thee, to set thine orb each day. Let me not be detained, let me not be repulsed. Let my limbs be renewed by the contemplation of thy glories, like all thy servants, for I am one of those who honored thee upon earth. Let me reach the land of ages. Let me gain the land of eternity. For thou, my Lord, hast destined them for me. The Osiris-En, he saith. Hail to thee, who riseth up from the horizon as Ra in union with Mot. Thou dost traverse heaven in peace, and all men see thee as thou goest forward. And after being concealed from them, thou present thyself at the dawn of each day. Brisk is thy bark under thy majesty. Thy rays are upon men's faces, the golden glories, they cannot be told. Not to be described are thy beams. The land of the gods, the colors of Punit, are seen in them, that men may form an estimate of that which is hidden from their faces. Alone art thou when thy form riseth up upon the sky. Let me advance as thou advanceth, like thy majesty without a pause. O Ra, whom none can outstrip. A mighty march is thine, leagues by millions and hundreds of thousands. In a small moment thou hast traveled them, and thou goest to rest. Thou completest the hours of the night according as thou hast measured them out. And when thou hast completed them, according to thy rule, day dawneth. Thou presenteth thyself at thy place as Ra, as thou riseth from the horizon. The Osiris-En, he saith, as he adoreth thee, when thou shinest. He said to thee, when thou riseth up at dawn, as he exalteth thine appearance. Thou comest forth, most glorious one, fashioning and forming thy limbs, giving birth to them without any labor, as Ra rising in heaven. Grant that I may attain to the heaven of eternity and the abode of thy servants. Let me be united with thy venerable and mighty Chu of the netherworld. Let me come forth with them to see thy glories, as thou shinest at the gloaming when thy mother Nuit enfoldeth thee. And when thou turnest thy face to the west, mine hands are in adoration to thy setting as one who liveth, for it is thou who hast created eternity. I have set thee in my heart unceasingly, who art more mighty than all the gods. The Osiris-En, he saith, adoration to thee, who ariseth out of the golden, and givest light to the earth on the day of thy birth. Thy mother bringeth thee forth upon her hands, that thou mayest give light to the whole circumference which the solar orb enlighteneth. Mighty enlightener, who riseth up in the sky, and raiseth up the tribes of men by the stream, and givest holiday to all districts, towns, and temples, and raising food, nourishment, and dainties. Most mighty one, master of masters, who defendest every abode of thine against wrong, most glorious one, in thine everything bark, evening bark, most illustrious in thy morning bark. Glorify thou the Osiris-En in the netherworld. Grant that he may come into Amenta without defect and free from wrong, and set him among the faithful and venerable ones. Let him be united with the souls in the netherworld. Let him sail about in the country of Aru after a joyful journey. Here is the Osiris-En. Come forth into heaven, sail across the firmament, and enter into brotherhood with the stars. Let salutation be made to thee in the bark. Let invocation be made to thee in the morning bark. Contemplate Ra within his ark, and do thou propitiate his orb daily. See the antfish in its birth from the emerald stream, and see the aptu fish and its rotations. And let the offender fall prostrate, which he meditates destruction for me, by blows upon his backbone. Ra springs forth with a fair wind. The evening bark speeds on and reaches the heaven. The crew of Ra are in exultation when they look upon him. The mistress of life, her heart is delighted at the overthrow of the adversary of her Lord. See thou Horus at the lookout at the bow, and at his sides Thoth and Mot. All the gods are in exultation when they behold Ra coming in peace to give new life to the hearts of the Chu. And here is the Osiris-En along with them. Adored be Ra, as he setteth in the land of life. Hail to thee, who hast come as Tamu, and hast been the creator of the cycle of the gods. Hail to thee, who hast come as the soul of souls, August 1, in Amenta. Hail to thee, who art above the gods, and who lightenest up the Tuah with thy glories. Hail to thee, who comest in splendor, and goest round in thine orb. Hail to thee, who art mightier than the gods, who art crowned in heaven, and king in the Tuah. Hail to thee, who openest the Tuah, and disposest of all its doors. Hail to thee, supreme among the gods, and weigher of the words in the netherworld. Hail to thee, who art in thy nest, and stirrest the Tuah with thy glory. Hail to thee, the great, the mighty, whose enemies are laid prostrate at their blocks. Hail to thee, who slaughterest the Sabu, and annihilatest a Pepi. Each invocation of this litany is as followed by, Give thou delicious breezes of the north wind to the Osiris-En. Horus openeth the great, the mighty, who divideth the earths, the great one who resteth in the mountain of the west, and lighteneth up the Tuah with his glories and the souls in their hidden abode, by shining into their sepulchres. By hurling harm against the foe, thou hast utterly destroyed all the adversaries of the Osiris-En. Hymn 2. The Osiris-En, he saith, when he adoreth Ra, the Horus of the two horizons, when setting in the land of life. Adoration to thee, O Ra, adoration to thee, O Tamu, at thy coming, in thy beauty, in thy manifestation, in thy mastery. Thou sailest over the heaven, thou travellest over earth, and in splendor thou reacheth the zenith. The two divisions of heaven are in obeisance to thee, and yield adoration to thee. All the gods of Amenta are in exultation at thy glory. They whose abodes are hidden adore thee, and the great ones make offerings to thee, who for thee have created the soil of earth. They who are on the horizon convey thee, and they who are in the evening bark transport thee, and they say, Adoration at the approach of thy majesty. Come, come, approach in peace. O to thee, welcome, Lord of heaven, King of Akhirta. The mother Isis embraceth thee, seeing in thee her son as the Lord of terror, the all-powerful, as he setteth in the land of life at night. Thy father Tatnan carrieth thee, and his arms are stretched out behind thee, and that which hath taken place is made fast upon earth. Wake up from thy rest, thine abode is in Manu. Let me be entrusted to the fidelity which is yielded to Osiris. Come, O Ra, Tamu, be thou adored, do thy will daily, grant success in presence of the cycle of the mighty gods. Beautiful art thou, O Ra, in thine horizon of the west, O Lord of law in the midst of the horizon. Very terrible art thou, rich art thou in attributes, and great is thy love to those who dwell in the Tuah. To be said when Ret sets in the land of life, with hands bent downward. Adoration to Tamu. As he setteth in the land of life, the Osiris-En, he saith, Adoration to Tamu, as he setteth in the land of life. The Osiris-En, he saith, adoring Tamu, when setting in the land of life, and shedding his rays on the Tuah. Hail to thee, setting in the land of life. O Father of the gods, thou art united to thy mother in Manu. Her two hands receive thee daily. Thy majesty hath part in his house of Sukaru. Exult thou because the doors are opened of the horizon. At thy setting in the mountain of the west, thy rays they run over the earth to enlighten the dwellers in Amenta. Those who are in the Tuah worship thee with loud acclaim and cherish hope when they see thee daily. Thou grantest to the gods to sit upon the earth, to those, namely, who follow thee and come in thy train, O august soul, who begettest the gods and dost invest them with thine attributes, the unknowable, the ancient one, the mighty in thy mystery. Be thy fair face proprietus to the Osiris-En, O Shapera, father of the gods. Freedom forever from perdition is derived through this book, and upon it I take my firm stand. He hath written it who spake it, and his heart resteth on the reward. Let there be given me armfuls of bread and drink, and let me be accompanied by this book after my life. That was pretty powerful, you guys. That was very deep. It was touching on all different aspects of self, connected with source, connected with the universe, as above, so below. There was a lot of mysticism, symbology, and various archetypes of different levels of consciousness embedded in that specific work. That's extremely powerful. And I find it fascinating because the Egyptians really looked at the afterlife with such a science and so much art incorporated and so much time and effort went into the afterlife. And if you really think about it, this physical life that we're in right now is barely a blip in the map. And if you can compare it to infinite time, it's not even considered a second, because you can't compare time in infinity, because infinity is forever. It just goes on and on and on. So thank you for being here with me. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/clandestine time lord. Also support our sponsors, getthetea.com. I've been taking this stuff called colostrum from getthetea.com. It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I've cut down on my coffee. My food has been digesting better. I love this stuff, so I would definitely check it out. They've also got really good products for detox. They've got really good immune support products. They've got these tablets and tea that you can take for detox, immune support. So definitely check them out, getthetea.com. And also check out the link that I'm going to leave in the video description box for the Quick Bivy. These Quick Bivvies are just a few ounces. They're smaller than your hand. They will fit in the palm of your hand, and you could take them with you just about anywhere, and they could help save your life if you get in a situation where it's going to be cold and you need to stay warm. So check that out. Make sure to become a member at leakproject.com. Also, if you become a premium member, you'll get access to exclusive content. That is my shameless plug, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here with me. Question everything. Can't wait to read your comments in the comment section about what you thought about this. Hope my reading was better this time. Be the change you want to see. By it, and be reconciled. Let all the displeasure which is in thy heart against me be removed. That's chapter 14. Now, chapter 15, this is quite extensive, and there's several hymns. There's 3 hymns associated with chapter 15, and I think it's quite a powerful scribe here. So here we go. Adored be Ra, when he riseth up from the eastern horizon of heaven, they who accompany him extol him. Here is the Osiris-En, the victorious, and he saith, O thou radiant orb, who ariseth each day from the horizon, shine thou a safe passage of the netherworld, the other side. And it's fascinating how much the Egyptians dove into the astral realms, the spiritual side of things. Very detailed, and the technologies that they intertwined with the symbolism and rites, rules, passages, etc. are nothing short of extraordinary. Absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. This is chapter 14, chapter for removing displeasure from the heart of the god against the deceased person. Held upon the face of the Osiris, who adoreth thee at dawn, and proprieteth thee at the gloaming. Let the soul of the En come forth with thee into heaven. Let him rejoice. Scratch that. Let him journey in the Matit boat and finish his course in the Sakit boat, till he reach in heaven unto the stars which set. He saith, as he invoketh his Lord, the Eternal One, Hail to thee, Horus of the two horizons, who art Chepera, self-originating. Beautiful is thy rising up from the horizon. Thee, O God, who sendest forth the moment, who presidest over all the secret things, and protectest the utterance of my words. Here is a God displeased against me. Let wrong be overwhelmed, and let it fall upon the hands of the Lord of law. Remove the impediments which are in me, and the evil and the darkness. O Lord of law, and let that God be reconciled to me, removing that which detaineth me from thee. O Lord of offerings in canoe, let me offer to thee the proprietary offering by which thou livest, and let me live. The Book of the Dead, ancient scripts from Egypt that go all the way back to at least 5,000 years ago, possibly older, especially if you reconsider the pyramids could be much older, like the Cheops pyramid could be much older than we're told, like at least 12,000 years old. So whether or not the Sumerian texts or some of these Egyptian texts are older, what I would like to do is read to you chapter 14 and 15 from the Book of the Dead. These are very powerful scribes / rites / spells for the